excited to be here in May. I love May because it brings not only the flowers, but Mother's Day. Like, I love honoring my mom. Like, it's always been my tradition to honor Mom, right?
Yes.
I mean, what about you guys? How do you feel when this, like, Mother's Day comes along? It just seems as though it kicks off a season of honoring people. Does that sound?
And I honor myself too. You know,
Me too.
I get excited because every year, and I know I've talked about this before, but every year besides when COVID was happening it was the Saturday before Mother's Day, all the women in my family, we get together, my aunts and my cousins, and as many as we can, and we spend the day together.
That's an amazing tradition. Like, I love traditions.
And we were just all texting about, okay, what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go? And to me, that's like something that I give myself also, is I'm like, Saturday before Mother's Day, I'm gone.
I don't know that I always have a tradition. I kind of honor my mom, but I also allow my kids and my husband to do what they want to do, which is kind of cool because I figure, you know, let them honor me how they would like to. Mm-hmm. But I know that there are other people. I mean, you must have yours too, Diane, and I guess you don't always have to be a mom to be honored, because there's like honorary moms, right? And
yes.
And pet moms, and because you know, right? You don't have to be a true like parent of a child to be honored on this holiday. Is my feeling, right?
Right.
So what's your take on it?
Yeah, I try to do something good for me. I actually ordered myself a Mother's Day gift in the middle of the night last night on QVC. It's just like there's something I've been wanting, and I'm like, it was the special of the day. And I'm like, that's going to be my Mother's Day gift. So my family's different because my mom, we lost her, she was very young when we lost her to cancer, and you know, and my son lives far away now, and so it's probably just going to be another day, but another day that I will take something, you know, and do something for me. Take a walk on the beach if it's a nice day, or just do something, a meditation, just to, you know, be with myself and honor myself. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. It's a day for us to nurture ourselves, to honor ourselves, and to be able to then expand that love to, you know, those around us, to our own mothers, to our grandmothers, to those who are mother figures.
Right. Have you ever felt, though, non-deserving?
No.
I don't know.
Non-deserving of what?
Of the attention of being a mom. I know I tend to have sometimes those feelings like, no, like, I'm a mom. Yeah, you know, like, I'm just a mom.
I don't feel that on Mother's Day. I feel it other times of the year.
Right. Well, I tend to feel it, I think, a lot, because I just feel like I'm filling a role, and like, is it really that big of a deal, right? So,
it is a big deal.
So,
to me, it's a big deal.
All right,
Mother's Day?
Yeah, well, no, being a mom is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's huge.
Absolutely.
I had no idea.
I mean, you're raising the future.
That's a great way to look at it. I like that.
Yeah.
So
no, remember when
I love my children.
When
so
my
that's
son was
thing,
born, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, I can't wait until he's out of diapers. So, you know, it's just going to be so much easier. And as life has gone on, I have an adult child now, and it just keeps going. And it's, what do they call it? Bigger kids, bigger problems, because it's just, it just changes. It never has stopped for me. I'm still
absolutely the
very
same way.
involved, but in a very supportive, standoffish way, you know, to allow him to grow into the person he needs to grow into.
Yes.
But I feel like it's really been an important and very fulfilling for me. I love every second. Well, I shouldn't say I love every second of it, but I love the result. I love the experience.
Yeah. All right. So fulfilling and honoring, and we love being moms.
We love being moms.
Yes.
to continue with our theme of motherhood, of living a motherhood that feels aligned with who you are and what your family needs, is the statement from our first guest, Alyssa Lindquist, who is the host of the Nurtured Mom Show podcast. And we are so excited to have you with us today. So welcome, Alyssa.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Thank you. I have some allergies going on, so bear with me. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
We are thrilled to have you here, especially when we're talking about motherhood.
Yeah.
And certainly with your quote, the first thing that comes into my mind is, how would someone know if they are in alignment?
You know, I think feeling aligned in motherhood really is about asking yourself, do you feel joyful? Do you feel in any given situation? And do you feel good? Do you feel like what you're doing, the decisions you're making, the experiences that you're bringing into your life, do they feel like they align with your wants, your needs, your desires? I think those are key aspects with starting to figure out if you're in alignment, right? It's a lifelong journey, but I think it's a good place to start, is to ask yourself those questions.
And how does someone kind of tune into that piece?
You know, I think it really begins in those moments where mom guilt, we all experience mom guilt, and in those moments, it's really telling you a lot, because we may go into a situation and say, oh, I should be doing it this way, or I shouldn't be doing it that way, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure you all have experiences with mom guilt.
I reflect back on exactly what you're saying, because you're sitting there not thinking about you. You're thinking about, oh, it's what's best for the family.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're forgetting you're part of the family.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, and you're a key piece to that, you know. I think something that gets lost often is when you prioritize yourself in motherhood, it benefits yourself, but it also benefits everyone in your family. You know, you fill your cup, you fill others' cups too. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and I think that just with that thought in mind is when we are taking care of ourselves, we are then able to be a better mother.
Yes.
And a better partner and a better friend and all the roles that we play in our lives.
Yeah, yes.
Absolutely.
And I think often when that mom guilt comes up, it's a great indication of maybe things that aren't in alignment, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just use an example. So there's societal pressure that says don't let your kids watch TV or not watch too much TV, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I have this moment where I wouldn't let my kids watch TV before school, but then I took a step back for a second and I said, wait a minute. If they are making their beds, they're getting dressed, which is important so we can get out the door on time.
Sure.
But if they get those things done and it gives me an opportunity to pack their lunches, to get myself ready for the day, why is that something I shouldn't do if it feels right for my family? Mm-hmm. So that's an example of how you can really take a moment, take a step back and ask yourself, what makes sense for me and my family? And that's a way of living in alignment.
And sure. I have found myself out of alignment because of social media. I don't know if anybody else has ever felt that way, but I know when my son was graduating from high school, it was very important. Everybody was posting, oh, you know, my child got into Harvard and my child got into Yale. And meanwhile, my child was in a different place. He really needed some time to take a step and not even go to college for a semester and just like really figure out like what he wanted to do. And I'm glad I allowed that and I didn't push it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to push it. There was a part of me that's like, oh, he's got to go to college right now, right? Yeah. But that was me out of alignment, right? Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
I was trying to be super mom and we can do this and
And here's the thing. Our motherhood, everyone's motherhood looks different. We are unique people. We have unique kids. And the more that we can tune into our uniqueness and what we all need, I think the better off we'll all be.
So do you have a few tips about how to kind of shift mom guilt?
Yes, it's so hard, right? And I think mom guilt is normal. I think it's part of our psyche. It's going to happen, but I think it's a matter of bringing awareness to that mom guilt and saying, okay, my mind is trying to play tricks on me, right? And I think the first thing to ask yourself is if you're saying things like I should or I shouldn't, because usually that's a good indication that you're not doing something that is in alignment with you. It's more about fulfilling a role or societal expectations or internal beliefs that you have about a situation. So I would start there. I would definitely start by seeing if you're saying things like I should or I shouldn't or I have to, those kind of phrases. And then allowing yourself a minute, similar to like what we spoke to earlier. Does this make sense for what I want, I need, I desire right now? And if the answer is no, then allow yourself the acceptance, allow yourself to live your truth, because I think that's where things can snowball and overwhelm, anxiety, burnout can really get the best of us.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think a good first step after that is, maybe shifting from I'm a bad mom because I watch TV, let my kids watch TV is too much of a jump, to I'm a great mom and I let things go, because that can be really hard, right?
Right.
So I think a good first step would be a slightly better thought than the I'm a bad mom because I let my kids watch TV. Maybe it's, you know what, my kids have been playing outside today and they need rest just as much as I do. So we're going to take an hour to watch TV and allow it to start there, because you have to start small, I believe, to really make some big differences. So.
Such a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like the whole taking away the shoulds and have-tos and creating this want and need, because that's truly what life's about.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And I think also having to be maybe confident enough
Yeah. Yes.
to be able
Confidence
to
is a big
step
part.
into that space,
Yes.
that I can choose to do something and that looks more like a leader
Yeah.
than a follower.
Yes.
And in doing so, I'm doing what works for me, and it may not be what everybody else is doing,
Right.
and that's okay.
Yes.
Because it works for me and it works for us as a family, and that's super important.
Yes. And I think it's about having grace for yourself along that journey, because we're not perfect. Mom guilt's going to get the best of us sometimes, but it's just working towards living more in your truth. And the more that you do that and show that to others, the more that they can live in their truth as well. So.
Oh, such great tips.
You also have another statement that I thought was kind of intriguing, and you say you're more than super mom.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
So to me, more than supermom means that you are more than what you do. You are more than your role as mom. You are a human being with your own personality, your own desires, and you don't have to do it all. You are enough to your family, you are enough to your children just as you are. There is no mom like you for your kids. And I guess that's really what it means to me.
And I've had that thought before. That's beautiful. I've had that thought that I think I had the thought the opposite way first, that why does my kid have this problem, right?
Right.
And then I've thought to myself, oh, I am the perfect mom for this child to move through this problem.
Yes.
And when I approached it that way, it changed the whole outlook for it and made me a stronger person and a better mom for him and to help him.
It's all about perspective
I was
changes,
going to say perspective too, because I think if we asked our kids, I don't think they'd want to trade us in.
No.
That's true.
So I think
That's a good point.
Let's look at that from that perspective
Yeah.
too. I loved what you shared. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the reminders.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
Of course. Of course.
And I just love the kind of the last focus of we are not just moms, and how and why it is so important to make sure that we are honoring ourselves, not just one day a year, because we do a lot, but throughout the year and in all different ways that we give ourselves that self-care and that self-love.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
It's
Alyssa,
beautiful.
for
Thank you.
coming.
Yeah,
Thank you so
for
much.
having
We
me.
love it.
And next up is our beautiful guest, Mary McGovern. And Mary is a registered nurse with an extensive background in being in operating rooms and dealing with skin. And she's so excited to be here today and tell us all about the skin cancer awareness for May. So I'd like to bring Mary on. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hello, everyone. Hi, ladies. So happy May and happy Mother's Day. And yes, May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. And anyone who knows me knows how excited I get when I talk about sunscreen, right, ladies?
Yes.
So if it's okay with you, I will briefly talk about the different skin cancers, that the most common ones, and why we want to protect ourselves against the beautiful but yet damaging sun, and a little bit about sunscreen. And there's a lot to know about sunscreen, and I would love to share that with all of you.
Oh, we would love that.
I'll go ahead and talk about, first of all, skin cancer is the most common form of cancer in the United States, and it's growing yearly. Most skin cancers are developed from the UVA rays of the sun. So to protect ourselves, we need to do a layering system of things and be aware all the time, not just in May because it's starting to get really nice outside, but all year long. Think about ways to protect your skin from the sun. So the three types of most common cancers are basal, squamous, and melanoma. Now, basal and squamous they are definitely can be dangerous, but more than that, they can be disfiguring. And lastly is melanoma, which is usually, if you catch it in time, can be very, very, it can be a good outcome, but if it's left to its own device, it can absolutely cause death, unfortunately. So the American Association of Dermatology recommends that all of us go to our dermatologist and get what's called a skin scan, so that they can get a baseline of all the moles and freckles and your unique body, so that you can have a baseline and then go yearly and get that checked out. Along with that, you yourself, and for your children, because it is Mother's Day too, so if you have children that are still young, you want to scan their bodies as well. Look at their moles, look at their skin. You want to look from head to toe in a full-length mirror, see if there's any changes on your skin. If there are, of course, you want to notify your medical practitioner right away. And there's something called the A, B, C, D, and E's, which is, if you want to look it up, it talks about asymmetry, borders of your different, they're usually moles and stuff that we're looking at, color changes of your moles, the diameter of your mole. Anything bigger than the end of a pencil or a pen should be checked out by your medical practitioner. And then also evolving, meaning is the mole changing colors or bleeding or whatever it's doing. So I just want you to be aware that we all should be really scanning our skin pretty much monthly to make sure there's no changes. That includes in between your fingers, your palms, your feet, believe it or not, because that's where melanomas can grow, in between your toes, because melanoma is a special breed of skin cancer. But I just wanted to bring those things up so that we can be proactive.
Yeah.
So what I really want to talk about is how can we protect ourselves against skin cancer. So first off, we all think of sunscreen, right? Mm-hmm. So sunscreens come in two different types, and sometimes they're a combination of both. They can either be chemical or they can be physical sunscreens. So physical sunscreens are like zinc dioxide or titanium dioxide, and they come out white. You've seen it like you see the lifeguard with the big white nose. And what a physical sunscreen does is it actually is like putting a layer of cloth on, and it blocks the sun rays from coming into your skin. A chemical sunscreen absorbs into your skin, and then when the sun rays hit your skin, it disperses them. So it actually absorbs into your skin and then gets dispersed. So there is a difference in different formulations of sunscreen. The other thing about sunscreen is that there's something called the sun protection factor, right? SPF, we've all heard of it. Now, the thing that is confusing about SPF is that if it doesn't say broad spectrum, it is only, there's two types of sun rays that hurt our skin, UVA and UVB. The UVB is what burns your skin, and that's the one that's mostly responsible for your skin cancers. However, the UVA also contributes to those skin cancers, and that's the one that goes a little deeper, also causes havoc on our skin as far as collapsing our collagen, causing fine lines, wrinkles, and all that. So there's UVA and UVB. And if the SPF was originally designed only to block talking about the UVB rays. So unless your sunscreen, you want to look at your sunscreens and make sure it says broad, oh, you probably can't see that, but broad spectrum on the bottle, because that means it's covering both your UVA and your UVB. Because if it doesn't say broad spectrum, guess what? It's only covering one of those UVA rays. So that's really an important note on sunscreens. And also, the other thing I want you to take away is that an SPF of 15 blocks 93% of your sun rays for a certain amount of time. An SPF of 30 blocks 97%, and an SPF of, you see the 100s, it's 98%. But those are all very vague, and what the dermatologist recommends, the AAD recommends, that you should use an SPF broad spectrum of 30 or higher. Now this is going to freak people out. And on your face, you should be using 1/4 of a teaspoon. That's about 5 pumps of, I have a sunscreen here. It's 5 pumps into this little teaspoon, 3 or 5, on your face.
Now, hey,
Now,
Mary.
for your body, you should use 1 ounce.
I have a
You guys,
question,
this is
Mary.
amazing.
Can she hear me?
Yes.
No? Oh, I have a question. So I have SPF in my makeup. Do I still need to put your skin, like a SPF on my face first?
Okay, so that is a good question. So usually, most of us, if it's in a makeup, we're not going to probably use this amount of makeup. This is what's recommended, this amount of makeup on our face to protect us. So if you use this amount of makeup on your face, then by all means, it protects you.
Okay.
But I think of makeup SPF as an added layer of protection. Okay. I prefer for me, because our face gets exposed every day to the elements, I prefer to put a recommended amount first, and then my makeup on as another layer. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes. And the hats. Mary, how do you feel about hats? Do they help protect our face as well?
Yes, they do, and I'm going to talk about hats as well. I just want to tell you about sunscreen first, and then I'll talk about the hats, because I want to get this drilled home to you.
Okay.
See, this is a shot glass. It's a pretty shot glass. This is the amount of sunscreen you need on your body every time, for every 2 hours before you go out in the sun. This amount.
Wow.
So if you're taking a family of 4, and this is where all of us fail, I believe. Maybe there's someone out there that's better than this. Okay, so this is 8 ounces of sunscreen here, right? And we're all supposed to, if you have a family of 4, we're all supposed to put 1 ounce on. If you spend 4 hours in the sun, you will have used this whole bottle of sunscreen. Right?
Wow.
If you're
That's
following the
eye-opening,
recommended
Mary.
amount.
That's eye-opening, because you know that that's totally not happening.
No. People have sunscreen left over from last year. Not me, but other
Yes.
people.
And think about it when you go to
I
the
just want to
beach.
bring that home.
Yeah,
because
and I
that's
often
how
see
long-
people
that's how
with
much
the
you should be
spray.
applying.
Yeah, with the spray. And
I see people at the beach with the spray, and the
They just-
spray's going off in the wind. and they're not even getting all the
benefit of
spray
it now.
of that on their
No,
body.
I highly,
Yeah.
something is better than nothing, of course. But I personally wanted to bring this home to everyone to just show you that for a family of 4, each of you using 1 ounce for, if you're there for 4 hours, every 2 hours you're supposed to apply. And so the sprays are great, except they're not great because, first of all, you don't want to inhale that aerosol. But something's better than nothing, and you still need to rub it in.
Hey, Mary, how about
So-
SPF clothing that has the SPF? Do you like those?
Yes.
Does that work?
Yeah, so what that is called, I love that. So SPF clothing has its own rating, and that's called UPF. Clothing is made with fabric that protects the skin from the sun is called UPF, which stands for Ultraviolet Protection Factor, a rating that indicates how much sun is getting through. So a lot of clothing, and there's high-end brands that carry it, so if you're out and about and you're going to a brunch with your girlfriends, you can get some of this clothing. And then there's some really nice Coolie Bar, other brands that are lightweight, so that if you're in the at the beach or whatever, you can layer with your clothing too, which I highly recommend. I do.
Well, it certainly sounds like you've given us a lot of great tips on how to protect ourselves with the sun and just environmental factors. That the sun has probably gotten stronger over the years as well, with the way the ozone layer has been depleted. So we greatly appreciate you getting us ready for the intense sun rays and being exposed to that as we get more outdoor time this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what a great Mother's Day gift. Protecting our moms.
Yes.
With
SPF.
great sunscreen.
SPF, wear your SPF every single day.
Awesome.
Rain
And get a
shine.
cool hat.
And some cool clothes.
And get a cute
cool
hat.
And a cute
All
hat.
right, so those are
Get a cute
Awesome.
hat.
oh, Mary, great
We
hat.
love that hat on you.
I love that. Mary looks so great in hat.
Thank you for
Thank
bringing
you
us
for-
these amazing tips.
Yeah, and giving us such
Well,
great
thank
insights.
you for having me, ladies.
Yes,
And happy Mother's Day, Mary.
Happy Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's Day, ladies. Bye.
And a happy Mother's Day to everyone in our audience and to you both as well.
Thank
Yes,
you. And
happy
you too.
Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's Day. And everybody go out there, enjoy that sunshine, and put all that sunscreen on you so you keep your skin looking beautiful.
Yeah, so wishing you all a wonderful Mother's Day and making sure you're taking care of yourself, even in the most easiest ways, sunscreen and a hat.
You got it.